What's up, guys? It's the beta tester here, and today I'm bringing back with a video talking about the LeBron James situation, but more importantly, the Lakers situation. So currently LeBron James is about to enter free agency, potentially if he opts out, and could be leaving Cleveland, which he most likely will. Now, some of the key destination points that he's looking at, supposedly, includes the Lakers, Rockets, Spurs, Warriors are in there for some reason, along with some other teams that people have thrown in there, which might not happen, like 76ers. That's actually a very likely one. But some other teams that just don't make much sense. I heard some people say Brooklyn. Some people said the Clippers. But really the main ones that people are pretty sure of he's gonna go to, or he's gonna either stay in Cleveland, go to the San Antonio Spurs, go to the 76ers, the Rockets, or I think that's pretty much most of the teams that he's looking at. Supposedly, who knows? For all we know, he could not even be thinking about leaving. Okay, supposedly. But either way, the main thing that people aren't discussing as much when they're considering the Laker opportunity is the state of Lonzo Ball. Now, when people talk about the Lakers, they talk about how they could have two max contracts, two super max contracts, and they could bring in LeBron James and Paul George, or potentially trade for a player like DeMarcus Cousins, or something like that, and have that big three be with that supporting cast around them. Now, this is a pretty good look on things, but you gotta look at what's already available on the team. You got a lot of great pieces on the Lakers, like Kyle Kuzma is a fantastic rookie. You got Brandon Ingram, who's developing, who's been playing pretty decent. Every time I watch Brandon Ingram, he always seems like he's trying to be something he's not. Played like a player that he's just not. Like, he seems like he's trying to play like Kevin Durant, but every time he takes shots, it always just seems rushed. But either way, a big player they're not talking about is Lonzo Ball. Now, Lonzo Ball is pretty good. He's not phenomenal. He's not fantastic just yet. He's good. Hit or miss. Let me explain. Lonzo Ball is one of the most dramatic cases that's happened in this last NBA season, with his father Laval constantly giving him all this praise and making him sound like he's the next Steph Curry, the next LeBron James, like Michael Jordan. We all know the LeVar situation, and luckily that's died down in recent weeks. But either way, Lonzo Ball is a fantastic ball player, no pun intended. What he brings to the basketball court is phenomenal. His overall game needs a lot of work, but he has some abilities that are phenomenal, that make him good overall. For example, his rebounding for a guard is fantastic, but that's not really going to do much for your team. It's fantastic for him to be able to rebound well, but that's not going to separate him from a decent player to a great player. The main thing that will definitely affect LeBron's decision is Lonzo's playmaking and his defensive ability. Lonzo Ball is 6'7", 6'8", around there, and his ability to not only have such a high basketball IQ, but also to move the ball so well, makes him a tremendous asset to LeBron, potentially. Having a player like Lonzo Ball, being able to run the offense when LeBron is out, will be a massive help for him. And of course, you could say Ben Simmons does something very similar, and he does. To be fair, he does. It's just that Lonzo Ball does it at a much better rate and can be a much better. He can play a much better off ball. For example, he doesn't have to be on the ball at all times to be effective. You've seen a lot of Lonzo Ball, especially in the second, especially after the All-Star break. When he started playing a bit better, especially before his injury, before he hurt his quad, or he hurt his knee. Before his injury, especially, he was starting to play a lot more off ball, and he was able to score a lot easier, through cuts and through transition baskets, and this really helped up his stats and boost up his shooting numbers. Even though they were still tremendously awful, he still was able to score very well off ball. But of course, he's fantastic on ball as well at being able to handle the rock. Of course, he had some growing pains, getting a lot of turnovers early in the season and not playing as fantastic as one might assume. Not being able to check the ball as well. But he averaged, over a steal a game. He averaged about a block. Put that into the stats when he averaged about 10 points, almost 7 assists and 7 rebounds. That's not bad numbers. Of course, he shot awful. He shot around 30% for both from the field and from the three-point line. And he shot an abysmal 45% from the free throw line, which is just god awful. But you got to keep in mind, his shot coming in the NBA was not the best. A lot of pressure on him, especially being the second pick and being with the Lakers and having his dad just suck him off so hard to make him sound like he was going to come out and drop like 35 points his first like 3 games. You know what I mean? Not combined, which I think his second game he dropped like 30 something, but it was against the Suns, so I mean it really doesn't count that much. The next game he dropped like 8 points, I think. So you know it's the Suns, so it doesn't really count. But when Lonzo Ball is on the court, his teammates at their 3-point percent rate is nearly at 52%. 52%. So this means that not only when Lonzo Ball's on the field that his teammates are shooting better, this means they're getting better shots. Because the fact of getting your teammates open and getting better shots is very different things. Let me explain. If you get your teammates open, they can take a much better shot. Let's say, for example, you take the case of like a player like James Harden, who's personally, he plays for my Houston Rockets, fantastic player, chokes like a motherfucker in the playoffs, but that's a different discussion. But if you watch James Harden play, a lot of times you'll see him be isolation and just dribble for like 20 seconds, 18 to 20 seconds, then drive and give his shooters about, 2-3-4 seconds to shoot, which gives him no time to be able to create a shot. Lonzo Ball, on the other hand, not only can get his players good shots, but also can give them good time to use those shots. Meaning, that's why when he's on the court, players are shooting at such a higher percentage from threes. Because not only does he get them open looks, he gives them time to utilize those open looks. Because James Harden get many of his players open looks, but he doesn't give much time for those open looks. Among with that, Lonzo Ball's usage rate is only at about 17%. Compare this to like a player like Russell Westbrook, who plays at 30-some percent and is, not very effective as well. He's able to use his ability to play off ball and to play when he's playing on ball. He doesn't hog the ball that much. You see a lot of things, players who get a lot of assists, who rack up stuff like Russell Westbrook, who rack up stats. What they do is they give players like, Harden does this sometimes as well. Westbrook is infamous for it, but to get like assists and rebounds and stuff like that, they'll steal them from other players. Really, Westbrook does, not much of Harden. Harden doesn't really care about rebounds, but assists sometimes. So players like Westbrook, they'll give situations where they'll try to get an assist where it's really, they'll just be like, take it up, or shoot it, right? Just get rid of the ball and try to score instantly. Lonzo Ball, on the other hand, he doesn't do that a lot. A lot of times, if he comes in up and he just passes out, there'll be whole possessions where he's not even playing, or he's not playing, but he's not even touching the ball so much. He's doing more ball movement, setting screens, which is a very valuable asset, especially when you bring a player like LeBron James on your team, who's a very ball-dominant player, who's going to be handling it for most of the game, at least half of the game, more than likely. But Lonzo Ball is able to bring this, along with his defensive prowess, averaging almost over a steal a game, and averaging about a block a game, which is fantastic. Compare this to the scrubs that LeBron has been playing with these last few months. Who is his starting point guard? Jordan Clarkson, who's all right, except when playoff time comes, because he's never been in the playoffs, so it's a bit difficult. Understandable. Jose Calderon, who's like about 40 years old and is, 40 years old. I mean, what do you really expect? But you see, Lonzo Ball adds something so spectacular to his teammates. People didn't talk about it as much this year, mostly due because of his father and because of, how hyped his father made him seem to be and how he kind of was a bit disappointing. But the fact is, on 29% of the shots taken by the Lakers when 29% of the shots taken by the Lakers when Lonzo Ball's on the field was through an assist, which doesn't sound fantastic. But when you compare it to a team who is mostly just isolation, that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent, especially for a first-year player. Being able to have almost over a quarter of your shots be through assisted by a teammate is very good. It's with a team like the Lakers were last year. Lakers were very mediocre, and we're just not the best shooting rise, So the fact that they're still able to do a bit over a quarter of their shots to be able to come off an assist is pretty decent. And once you throw in a player like LeBron James and potentially Paul George, that is obviously going to shoot up massively, and it's going to have a lot better chances for the players in the Lakers to get better shots and score bigger buckets. Now, you throw in the fact that LeBron James, who's coming off year 15, who's coming out here, he's going to be, he's going to be LeBron James, don't get me wrong, but he knows that he doesn't want to do what he did last year again. Having a player like Lonzo Ball being able to handle the rock for him is going to help a lot. Now, you could say 76, like I said before, would be, were a great option, and they are a great option, but, Ben Simmons and LeBron kind of do the same thing, except Ben Simmons can't shoot, and they say LeBron can't shoot either, but, I mean, he's proven that he can now. But Ben Simmons basically does the same thing, but he can't shoot, which can cause problems. Joel Embiid, that's irrelevant. He's fantastic. And other teams, I'm a Houston Rockets. I'm a Houston Rockets fan, so of course I want to come to Houston. But you gotta look at the best situation for him. Now, personally, I don't think he'll go to the Lakers, but you can't argue that the Lakers don't have a good shot of landing him. I haven't even mentioned Josh Hart. You have Bryant, who's nobody's really talked about, who's pretty decent once they give him minutes. We'll see. Zubac, just a lot of good young players who, with pieces like LeBron or Paul George, etc., can really take it to the next level. And I think Lonzo Ball is one of the big reasons for that. But either way, guys, this is Fool with the Controller. Hope you enjoyed this video. Oh my god. But anyway, guys, this is the beta tester. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, guys, so here's a quick little message for anybody still listening. This is kind of a different video for me. I haven't done a video in a long ass time, and I'm probably gonna start doing videos like these from now on. At least I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see how people how people react to whatever. I don't know how many of my subscribers are still active because it's been a long time, but hopefully